Our next speaker isn't probably going to go down in history as a modern-day saint, but the work he does is no less saintly, because anyone, anywhere, who stands up for the dignity, in solidarity with those whose lives and whose livelihoods are put at risk, we want to really honor. Mark Burrows has been a locomotive engineer for 37 years, a longtime member of the United Transportation Union, Local 1433, and has been their delegate to the last two international conventions. The Railroad Workers United are a cross-craft inter-union caucus of railroad activists across North America, and where dignity on the job is concerned, the challenge to the profit-driven single bottom line approach to enterprise is concerned, unsafe conditions, and the threat to surrounding communities is concerned, this man is a real champion. Please welcome him warmly today.
Wow, okay. I would like to thank the organizers of this event for inviting Railroad Workers United to be a part of this. I'm honored to be here among so many fighters against injustice in all its many forms. To me, the common denominator is our values and morals versus theirs. It simply comes down to right versus wrong. It is a moral outrage to willfully poison and violate our Mother Earth, to knowingly disregard the potential consequences of climate change gone wild, which were known decades ago. The reckless, irresponsible, profit-driven methods of extraction, processing, transportation, and production of the various resources for energy and industrial needs is a moral outrage, as is the never-ending turf war, power struggles for these resources, and the tragic human toll that continues to mount. About a year ago, talking to refinery workers on strike at the BP plant here, their concerns were frighteningly familiar. Forced overtime, 18-hour shifts, no days off for weeks, as one put it, as we're babysitting a time bomb. Same song and dance on the railroad. Increased profits by maximizing production out of the fewest amount of workers. I've seen crew sizes reduced by 75%. The length and tonnage of trains has doubled and tripled into 2-mile-plus long, 15 to 20,000 ton monsters. The inevitable consequences of this profit-driven madness was the tragedy of Lac Magenta, Quebec, a few years ago. The engineer, Tom Harding, working by himself, and his immediate supervisor, Richard LeBray, are being framed up and scapegoated by the Canadian government and the previous railroad, Maine, Montreal, and Atlantic, to deflect from their culpability. And these workers face life imprisonment if convicted of the bogus charges against them. Not only would this be a grave injustice to these two workers, it would be a dangerous precedent for other workers to be blamed for consequences of the boss's policies. By letting the real criminals walk free, the bosses continue business as usual, further endangering the workers, surrounding communities, and the environment. For more information on this very important case, please see me or go to our website, railroadworkersunited.org. Check out the online issue of the Highball. It's our quarterly newspaper. The current spring 16 and winter 16 issue both have articles that lay out the facts and on this case and make a convincing case as to who should be held responsible. We say drop the charges against Harding and LeBray now. Also on our website will be a link to the Labor Community Alliance. Up on the and there you'll find info on the rail safety conferences that we have participated, collaborated with. Some of you have attended in trying to build a link with labor and community and environmentalists to find our common ground. There's a link to Just Transition, With thousands of coal miners, oil refinery, and railroad workers laid off due to the market fluctuations, it's very important that we incorporate just demands for these workers who would be most immediately impacted by a transition from fossil fuels. That's our response. Just transition is our response to the sordid debacle played out in West Virginia last week with Trump and Clinton. Before oil bomb trains hit the scene, my biggest concern had always been that a tank car load of ammonia or chlorine could bust open in a densely populated metropolitan area. This would be instant death for anyone downwind. If one tank car of liquefied petroleum gas explodes, it's estimated a quarter-mile radius would be reduced to rubble. With longer, heavier trains operated by fatigued, overworked, understaffed crews, a disaster that could make Lac Magentic seem like a walk in the park is clearly within the realm of possibilities. The Federal Railroad Administration recently put out a proposed directive on engineer-only trains that allows the carriers to plead their case that if they can do it safely, they could qualify for the same kind of blessing exemption that Transport Canada gave to the Montreal, Maine, and Atlantic to operate engineer-only, and we saw how well that worked. Tomorrow is the deadline for public comment on this, and so myself and my posse, we're going to be distributing this leaflet. It has a little bit of editorial comment and instructions on how to go online to give the FRA your 2 cents worth on this. This issue is real simple. If a pilot of a passenger airplane becomes incapacitated or makes a miscalculation, a few hundred lives could perish instantly. That's why there's a co-pilot. If an engineer, by his or herself, gets incapacitated and hauling dangerous cargo and makes a miscalculation in a densely populated metropolitan area, the consequences, the casualties, could be multiplied exponentially. So we're all in this together to build this movement against injustice and fighting for political, environmental, social, and economic justice. Thank you.